Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. And the topic of this 10-minute moan is about some strange goings on in last week's local elections in England that some of you might not be aware of. That was only highlighted to me today. Where in Rochdale, with quite a tight seat to be honest with you, independent candidate called Billy Howarth spotted something pretty odd happening with his votes, where he was claiming they were added to the Labour pile. And I'll show you the video in a wee minute or two. But he was really more upset when others who were at the count, other candidates, didn't back up his pleas for a recount. And the council claimed that, they sorted the problem and there was no need for a recount. But looking at the results, it could have been costly for the guy who ultimately won, the Reform candidate Jordan Tarrant-Short, who was elected as a councillor. Because council elections was a 28% turnout, there was only 2,300 people voted, and the guy who won it was 766 votes. The Labour Party were about just under 140 votes behind him at 624. However, Billy, the independent guy, he managed to get 180 votes. So if he hadn't caught them and pointed out the error here, where he's claiming his votes were put onto the Labour pile, Labour would have got just over 800 votes and won the seat by about 30 to 40 votes. And I think that's pretty damning. I'm also concerned as to why he didn't get a lot of support from others, but it's a bit dodgy to say the least. So I'll get the video up and watch it. It's only about a minute long, but have a wee watch at this. It's scary stuff when you consider we're meant to be one of the most democratic places in the world when it comes to voting.
They've been putting mine in the Labour box. How can you make that mistake? That's how they fix it. Yeah. That's how they fix it every year. Put the wrong bundles in the wrong piles. He's watching, he knows, he's laughing. Onto this one, I'm telling you. And that's what they did last time.
Yeah, will you move so that we can actually see what's going on?
They need to guys, I'm supposed to need a full recount.
Why don't the two people at the front there go to the back so we can see exactly what's going on?
Is that enough? How many is it?
Yes. Now we can see what's going on.
Yeah, it's going to have to, sorry guys, but it's going to have to be a recount. You can't mix up votes like that. Recount, guys. Yeah. Done it. The Labour Party will and then we know what recount. Oh.
Incredible, isn't it? And it doesn't. Nobody seems to be arguing that what he's saying is wrong. And certainly, the local council backed up what he said. He said that there was an error pointed out and we rectified it. Now, of course, there is two possibilities here. One, it could have been a genuine mistake, or it could have been somebody trying to gerrymander a result. Who am I to decide which one of those two statements are true? But it certainly is worrying that this sort of thing can even happen. I mean, it has happened. There's no, the council even backed that up. The newspaper the following day, where we said and the police were called, by the way, because he got a bit irate when other candidates declined to support a recount. He shouted, "You bottled it, the lot of you. No recount, shame on the beep, lot of you." Right, so he was obviously a bit upset, the guy, and quite rightly so. I don't think he was going to win the election. I don't think that's what he's arguing here, but he's arguing that there's an issue here. And he later claimed there'd been skullduggery in the count and maintained that a full recount was necessary despite the issue having been addressed by the election officers. On Friday morning, a spokesman for Rochdale Borough Council said, at one point during the counting of the votes last night, concerns were raised about the process. The concerns were promptly addressed. In discussions with all candidates and their agents, and all but one was satisfied with the information provided. This is the UK we're in. I kind of don't think that's acceptable, and it doesn't matter that they rectified it. In fact, it's just like, well, so what? We put 180 votes for one guy into a pile for the guy who came second and would have won if the problem wasn't rectified. So the fact that everybody's happy with it, that's fine. But the fact it happened in the first place and could have had such a massive result swing, it would have taken that seat from Reform and put it squarely into Labour. And I would hate to think if this was deliberate. It is truly and utterly mind-blowing. But, you know, fair play to the guy standing up. And, you know, I don't know why the others didn't support him in a recount. Maybe they felt the same, that, you know, well, we've identified the error, we've rectified the error. So, you know, we don't need to go and recount and spend the whole night again saying that it was 2,362 votes they were counting. It's hardly going to take them forever. But what would have happened if he hadn't I mean, I know candidates for elections that have never even turned up at their counts. Staying up to date with events around the world can be difficult, where it's impossible to consult a single source for the full story. Narratives that shape public opinion often just reinforce media and corporate-backed vested interests. It's hard to know what information to trust. See what the media is exaggerating, sensationalising, over or under reporting. That's why I've been using Ground News. Ground News is an app and website that combines news from around the world in one place so you can compare coverage. For every news source, you can see if it has any political bias, how reliable the reporting is, and who owns them. They even have a blind spot feed that highlights news disproportionately covered by one side of the political spectrum. Take a data-driven view on the news and stay current. Get news from thousands of sources worldwide in one place. I've been using Ground News to help me get all the world's news in one place and give a more balanced opinion on what we read and viewing who is telling us the truth and who isn't. Subscribe via my link to get 40% off the Vantage subscription. It's the one I use to get unlimited access to every feature. Your subscription can not only help my channel, but also help Ground News, as it makes the media landscape more transparent. And if Billy Howarth, the independent guy, hadn't turned up at this count, how would he have known? Nobody would have known. And could that vote have been called wrongly? 100%. Because he noticed it. Not somebody in the building. Now, could they have maybe noticed it later on? I don't know, right? But the fact that it happened in the first place is frightening, and the fact that it took the candidate to point out quite a obvious, no say blatant, because that would infer that there was skullduggery was indeed going on. It might have been a genuine accident, but it's certainly a bit rotten. So if you want others to see this video, hit the thumbs up, put some comments below, and hit the share button. Share it with people if you want. And if you've not already done so, thank you to everybody who subscribes to the channel. But if you've not already, please consider subscribing. And if you want, hit the notifications bell. You'll be told when I put out another video. But most importantly, more important than all that, as long as you're not the type of person that gets into account and can make, let's just be kind and say, a mistake, even if it was just a pure mistake, a mistake at this level at an election count in the United Kingdom, no you, but everyone else, have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.